Did your small business receive a COVID economic injury disaster loan and EIDL during the pandemic? If you are that person who is concerned about the SBA's management of your repayments or transactions you have to do, or you are not concerned yet, but you just want information, then today's video is for you. If, on the other hand, you are casually scrolling through videos here on YouTube and you think this is a video about the 100 Years' War between England and France and Joan of Arc, I'm sorry, that is not what today's video is about. But I did just watch that video and it was fantastic. I want to start out today's video by reading an excerpt from an email that one of our clients received last year when that client hired us to assist with a natural disaster loan in California for his house, and subsequently in my putting together the documents and my questions and answers for my analysis and my consulting, I discovered he had a small business, actually two small businesses that had COVID EIDLs. And he had requested hardship accommodation in the summer of 2024, and the SBA denied his request. And I created an argument as to why we should appeal this decision. And this was the final response that client received. And sadly, we have been learning that many of you have experienced similar situations. In fact, if you have received something like this from the SBA, we'd love for you to put that in the comments that you're one of those folks, because we'd like to explore this topic further. And while you folks are doing the comments thing, if you could take a quick extra second and just hit the thumbs up and like the video, tell YouTube to share this video with other small business owners with COVID EIDLs. Okay, here's the email that our client received last year. We have received your request for hardship on loan number. The loan center conducts a post-funding compliance review of the loan. And yes, I'm going to call your attention, because I know you're reading it on the screen. I don't know where Linda Ray is putting it. I'm going to call your attention to the fact that this loan was written by a representative of the Small Business Administration, and that person wrote, "The loan center conducts '(s), which is the incorrect usage of the apostrophe. Conducts is a verb. You know, I often say that the folks at the SBA are good folks, well-intentioned civil servants, but they are poorly trained and apparently rely too much on bad spell check. I digress. The loan center conducts a post-funding compliance review of the loan. After careful review, we determined this business is not eligible for hardship. Therefore, we cannot proceed with your request for hardship. No further documentation is needed." And by the way, the bold that you see here, the SBA representative made these words bold. I didn't do this. I blocked out the loan number and I highlighted the yellow highlighting. But the bold stuff you see, this was created in the original email by the SBA representative, went to that extra level of gotcha. No further documentation is needed. There is no remedy for this issue. No further details are available. This decision is final. You have previously been advised at least twice that you are not eligible for hardship. This sounds like when I went to Catholic school and the nun in 3rd grade would reprimand somebody for not having done their homework. Additionally, these discrepancies cannot be cleared for you disaster loan. You, not your disaster loan. They take the time to do all this stuff, but not to do spell check, apparently. If you have any questions about this action, please contact our office. Today's video about COVID EIDL is what I call comfort and care. The feedback I get on many of our 1-hour consulting calls is that the information we provide and the manner in which we provide it is both factual and comforting. Although someone on a 1-hour consulting call just yesterday told me that she said, "You deliver bad news all the time. It's very depressing." She said, "But you do deliver the bad news with passion, Trevor. So thank you. And you know who you are." But most other folks don't tell me the news is bad news. Listen, I'm not here to, I'm just a messenger. I've said time and again, Linda Ray and I, as the EIDL experts, we have no reason to exist but for this level of dysfunction at the Small Business Administration. You know, do your credit card companies treat you like this? I mean, I know we occasionally have problems where identity theft, a stolen credit card, a billing mistake, late payment. Does your mortgage company treat you like this? When you make your car payments, do you have these types of issues? You don't even have to communicate with these people. It's automatic. But not so with the Small Business Administration. You signed a loan agreement that requires you to follow certain restrictions, requirements, responsibilities, most of which are just around the basic functions of your business, not even anything really complicated like you're having a problem making payments. I'm talking about changing your address, selling assets, changing the ownership, changing the business structure. All of these things, you are required to interact with the SBA. And you don't do that with the mortgage on your house when you hire a landscaper to cut down the weeds. First, I want to thank you folks who give us those types of compliments, that the manner in which we provide this information is both factual and comforting. And I'm quoting from someone on one of our recent 1-hour calls. Let me say this first to all of you folks, you good people, you hardworking, earnest, honest small business owners with COVID EIDLs. You should not feel any shame, any anxiety, or any guilt or concern when you have to interact with the SBA. Let me say this first and foremost. And I say this not only as an EIDL expert, but as a former mortgage banker. It's only money. Money has no ego. I once did volunteer work with some community groups where I approached them and I said, I would like to anonymously do some classes on financial education for your members of your church, your community group. Please don't tell them, you can use my first name, but please just say I'm in financial services. I don't want them to know what I do for a living. I was a mortgage banker because I was not there to generate business. I wanted to give something back to the community, much as we do here on these videos. And I called these the Ben Franklin classes. There were 3 classes. And then the 4th session was a one-on-one interview with each of the participants. But in the first class, the very first thing I did was I had people take their wallets out, and I wanted to see how they treated their money in their wallets. But more importantly, I had them hold the money up and insult their money. It's weird, right? I know. Linda Ray says I'm very weird very often, probably as recently as just an hour ago. But the point I was making was money has no ego. So therefore, why do you attach ego? Why do you attach personality? Why do you attach emotion, anxiety, concern? If you can't pay your bills right now, it's only temporary. I'm living proof of that. I've gone through some really terrible, horrific financial issues in my life due to a bad divorce and some professional problems, most notably due to criminals that brought down a mortgage company and ruined my life for a quarter of a century. And I am living proof that these things are only temporary and you can get through them. So you should not feel any shame or anxiety or guilt when you're interacting with the SBA. It's money. Money has no ego. The people who work at the SBA, even this person, well-intentioned as many of them are working within limited confines of an underappreciated and politically neglected bureaucracy. In our COVID EIDL resource hub, we discussed this in the guidebook as the aspect of people. There's a chapter I wrote called Paper, Process, People, Patience, the 4 Ps. And there's also a chapter about beware of SBA representatives and another chapter about fighting back. By the way, if you are interested in assistance for your COVID EIDL, questions you have, concerns, anxiety that I don't think you should have, but if you have the need of assistance, you can find everything we have to offer you in terms of products and services in the links that you will find in 2 places. First, in the top comment, which is the pinned comment under this video, and secondly, in the description. There are links in both of those locations that takes you to our website, and you can find everything that we offer you in terms of products and services to assist you with the COVID EIDL. And while you're doing it, if you could take a quick moment and just hit the thumbs up and like the video. Tell YouTube this video has value, and they'll share it with other business owners like you. The second point I wanted to make today is that in our guidebooks, we present this same perspective. about people. And the same perspective as we do here on these free videos. Factual information with the human element baked in to make your experience dealing with the SBA easier to manage and to improve your effectiveness and the efficiency with each interaction you've got with the SBA. This has been our commitment, our passion, our intention since literally March 18th of 2020, giving you accurate information that you can use to reduce that stress and anxiety and to make your process more effective. Initially, that was to help people get approved for the COVID loans. We did hundreds of videos about getting approved for the COVID process. We did live question and answer sessions. And an example of this assistance that we provide is a chapter in our EIDL Resource Hub about this concept of discrepancies. Here are some other communications I wanted to share with you about discrepancies. These are other communications that our clients have received. Dear applicant, thank you for your application for a disaster home loan. Your request was carefully considered, and we regret to inform you that we are unable to approve the reconsideration of your previously declined application for the principal reasons stated below. That's a very important sentence. The principal reasons stated below. Now, I come from a mortgage banking background, and if we had to deny a loan application, we were required by federal regulation, notably the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or ECOA, notably the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, and notably the Truth in Lending Act, amongst others, about Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. I know all the acts. We were required by law to tell you the exact reason why we declined your loan. And that's why I'm honing in on the sentence, declined application for the principal reasons stated below. This is a communication from the Small Business Administration in a letter that one of our clients received 2.5 years ago after they applied for a disaster home loan. Not eligible due to policy reasons, parentheses, COVID loan. I don't know. What does that mean? The letter goes on to say, there are significant discrepancies between the information in your COVID EIDL loan file, including the federal income tax information obtained from the Internal Revenue Service, in comparison with the information you provided with that application. An applicant who misrepresented information on a COVID EIDL loan application is ineligible for SBA disaster loan assistance. I have factual based opinion on that, but I'm not going to go into it on today's video. Dear applicant, thank you for your application for a disaster business loan. Your request was carefully considered, and we regret to inform you that your application was denied for the principal reasons stated below. There's that principal reasons again, even though there are no principal reasons. Other reason specified below. There are significant discrepancies between the information in your case file, including the federal income tax information obtained from the Internal Revenue Service, in comparison with the information you provided with the SBA COVID-19 SBA EIDL loan application. As a result, you are not eligible for SBA disaster loan assistance. And finally, this is the first communication that this client received about their request for hardship. Regarding your request for hardship, the Loan Center is conducting a post-funding compliance review of your existing COVID EIDL loan and is requesting additional documents for the review. Please provide these documents within the next 7 days, otherwise the review will be closed. Because, 7 days, you're doing nothing all day long while you're living in a disaster area and trying to find a way to make a living and feed your family and pay your bills. You got nothing better to do over those 7 days but respond to an SBA audit, which is what a post-funding compliance review is. This is just one of many issues that we address in our COVID EIDL Resource Hub and in our various blueprint guidebooks. The blueprint guidebooks, by the way, are basically, we've taken excerpts from the total EIDL Resource Hub and customized those in terms of specific transactions, such as changing your address, closing your business, Freedom of Information Act, and so on. Our EIDL Resource Hub is the comprehensive source of everything you need to know about the COVID loan that your business got during the pandemic. It's a compendium, and on today's video, which I'm calling Comfort and Care, which is my way of saying to you again, Linda Ray and I, we do these videos to provide you with comfort, to provide you with answers, and to demonstrate to you our deep passion, our care for your success as a small business owner. And along those lines, if you wouldn't mind popping over to our other YouTube channel, Simple Sense for Small Business, where we get to further demonstrate our passion and our care for small business owners. And the EIDL Resource Hub was born out of this commitment to comfort and care for the small business community with the COVID EIDL program. I have one real true call to action for you on today's video. Could you please share this video with your accountant, with your attorney? Because in my opinion, those are the people who need it even more than you do. The reason being, we have over 13,000 subscribers. Our videos get reasonable amount of views, but clearly there were 4 million COVID loans. And I feel that the best source of information about the COVID loans on a local basis should be your accountant, your attorney. These are the people in your communities who are advising small business owners on various aspects of their business, whether it's taxes or setting up the business, employment practices, and so forth, doing buyouts of business partners, changing business organization, and on and on. And we cover all of those topics and so much more in the EIDL Resource Hub. So if you could please share this video with your accountant, with your attorney. Yes, we created the breakout guidebooks, the blueprint, we call them the blueprint series of guidebooks, for specific transactions such as asset sales, reamortization, closing the business, the short-term payment assistance program, bankruptcy, and et cetera, et cetera. But the compendium, the information that is drawn from my experience, first as a mortgage loan officer, secondly as an EIDL expert for the last 5.5 years now, is designed so that your accountant, your attorney, can use that as their go-to reference, the same way they would a book in their law library or a guide that they use online at the IRS website to assist their client in any given unique specific situation. And especially because, as discussed, the SBA, the underfunded, overworked, overwhelmed, and now understaffed, thanks to Ms. Loeffler, who fired 43% of the staff, understaffed federal bureaucracy, which is essentially neglected and ignored by the politicians in Congress. If you have to do the most basic interaction with them, it can be just, you want to rip your hair out. And that's why I started out today's video by saying you should not feel any shame or anxiety. It's only money. But the SBA just makes things all the more complicated. We have no reason to exist as EIDL experts, but for those chaotic, confusing, dysfunctional moments that you have with the SBA. Please share this video with your accountant and your attorney. And as the EIDL experts, on behalf of Linda Ray, I would like to thank you all for tuning in. Please consider hitting the thumbs up and liking the video and subscribing to the channel. More than 70% of folks who watch our videos are not subscribed. And I'll be back with more comfort and care in the future. Thanks for tuning in.